TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the Islamic Republic of Iran reiterates its determination to attack Israel decisively. Amid fear in Tehran over President-elect Donald Trump's anticipated return to the White House, the Ayatollah Regime announces its hope for dialogue on its nuclear program. Defense Minister Yisrael Katz asserts that Israel will not accept any resolution that does not meet Jerusalem's war objectives. Iran is determined to strike at Israel. In contrast to circulating reports claiming that Tehran had rolled back on its intention to attack, a position that some reporters even claim to have been noted by both Israeli and American officials, the RGC, which effectively dictates the Islamic Republic's foreign policy, in close consultation with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has clarified its intentions. RGC Chief Commander Major General Hossein Salami decreed early this morning, quote, "Our eyes are fixed upon you, and we will fight to the very end, refusing to let you dictate the fate of Muslims. Retribution will come. We will respond with painful blows. Just wait and see." Doubling down on the threat, Iran's military commander-in-chief Major General Abdullahim Musavi joined his RGC colleague in reiterating the Ayatollah regime's determination to strike at Israel. He asserted, quote, "We will set the timing and nature of our response to the Zionist regime, and when the moment arrives, we will act without hesitation. Our response will be decisive and uncompromising." The remarks by the two top Iranian generals were made while Dr. Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, is on a two-day visit to Tehran ahead of an anticipated IAEA Board of Governors meeting that is scheduled for next week. And while the head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, Mohammad Islami, claimed that the meetings with the IAEA director had been productive, he also seized the opportunity to threaten the United States and Europe over a possible resolution that could reprimand Tehran's defiance, as its nuclear proliferation has far exceeded levels required for civic applications.
The contacts and exchanges between us and Mr. Grossi have always been constructive and effective, and on this trip, we also had constructive negotiations and discussions with Mr. Grossi. Any interventionist resolution in the nuclear affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran will certainly be faced with resolute reciprocal actions, and we will not give them permission to use this type of pressure, which they have experienced for years, and realize that we will not succumb to these pressures. And we will continue our program within the framework of our national interests and the Islamic Republic of Iran's national security.
It is important to know that IAEA Director General Grossi had delayed the publication of his periodic report on Iran, and an internal IAEA memo reveals that the agency's secretariat only plans to brief the Board of Governors on November 19th, merely one day prior to the Board of Governors meeting, which is highly unusual. Meanwhile, Director General Grossi utilized his visit to Tehran to convey a message to the team of President-elect Donald Trump.
Let me say one thing. Policies, decisions are the result of circumstances. And I think it is in our power now here to take concrete steps that will indicate clearly, not only to the United States, of course to the United States as well, but to the entire international community, that we can find ways of understanding, we can clarify things, we can move forward with concrete solutions to these things. knowing that on the basis of this, it will be possible to make progress.
Subsequently, during a meeting with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, Tehran's top diplomat seized the opportunity to voice the Ayatollah regime's hopes to renew negotiations with the incoming Trump administration on its nuclear program.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is ready for nuclear negotiations, is ready for nuclear cooperation within the framework of previous agreements with the agency. It depends on how serious the opposite parties are in this matter. The Islamic Republic of Iran, with goodwill, made the nuclear agreement JCPOA and implemented it with goodwill. It was the other parties who withdrew.
At a time when Iran is more exposed than ever, with its most advanced aerial defenses destroyed during Israel's retaliatory strike on October 26th, Tehran's top diplomat sought to dissuade the United States from any direct confrontation.
The path of confrontation is not a path that would be beneficial for any side. The path of cooperation must be taken. We are ready for cooperation in this area and hope that the other party also takes a rational policy.
It is worth noting that the Ayatollah regime's sense of rationality is one in which it attempts to distance itself from any of its own belligerents throughout the region, while its proxies continue to attack U.S. forces, allies, and partners on a daily basis. Therefore, during a meeting between outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump at the White House yesterday evening, the former's national security advisor highlighted that the two main threats to the United States that were discussed included the strategic competition with China and the immediate threat that relates to the Islamic Republic of Iran and its proxies.
Then there's the most immediate issue, which is Iran and its proxy groups continue to take actions that directly threaten Americans and American interests in the Middle East, and that has to be dealt with on an urgent basis.
Sullivan further acknowledged that he had a meeting with Israeli Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer, during the course of which a long list of issues were discussed.
I had the opportunity to sit down yesterday with the Israeli Minister of Strategic Affairs, Ron Dermer. We had a detailed discussion about every element of the current situation in the Middle East, and it was a constructive discussion. We are still actively working in support of our common efforts to push back against our common adversaries, to try to deal with the situation in Gaza, in Lebanon, and directly with respect to the Islamic Republic of Iran. And just to give you an example, we are working on an ongoing daily basis to try to increase the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza, given the suffering of the innocent civilians there who are trapped amidst the crossfire between the IDF and the terrorist group Hamas. We have made some progress in that regard. We extracted further commitments from the Israeli side over the course of the past couple of days. We want to see those commitments followed through on. So we believe that we can continue to work across the board on all of the relevant issues, whether it's humanitarian assistance or it's ensuring the defense of Israel against Iranian attacks, or it's working on ceasefire efforts and a hostage deal in Gaza, or it's ultimately bringing a diplomatic resolution to Lebanon, which we're actively working on. We'll continue to do that every day that we have remaining in office.
Meanwhile, on Israel's northern front, Jerusalem's top defense official met with IDF Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, as well as Northern Command Commander, Major General Ori Gordon, during the course of which he initially underscored the importance of capitalizing on the achievements made versus Iran's Lebanese proxy, Hezbollah.
I identify capabilities and determination, and without reasonable doubt, thanks to that the achievements are vast. Unprecedented achievements that realize a reality that demands ongoing significant determination in order to establish and realize victory.
Defense Minister Katz went on to stress that Israel will not accept any resolution that does not meet Jerusalem's war objectives.
I have no doubt, and I can see that there is on whom we can rely. here, as the operations are being implemented here at the highest levels. Of course, the government and the diplomatic file must back and accompany you, and reach the same appropriate point together, in which we will be able to capitalize on the fruits of victory in the better possible manner. We will not implement any ceasefires, we will not stop or take our leg off of the gas pedal, and we will not accept any arrangement that will not include achieving the war goals, which includes disarming Hezbollah, to push it beyond the Litani River and primarily creating the real conditions for the return of the northern residents to their homes with security. I use the word willful return rather than ordered return, because people who will see the security conditions will return willfully. It is not a matter of orders. You cannot give orders to people to return to their homes. We must prepare the conditions. You undertook a very long journey, and at this moment we are being tested.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to initially encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Separately, if you're blessed by our productions, which are exclusively donation-based, please consider supporting our programs with a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.